Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, I have to say hi to my grandmother. So, hola, mama, bendición. Um, she watches the channel sometimes, and so I wanted to say hi to her. It's kind of weird because they're still kind of barely tolerating the fact that I dress like this and stuff like that. But the beautiful thing about it is that they know my heart, um, and my grandparents on my mother's side have been very good about ministering to me and stuff, and I'm very blessed in that way. There's a lot of things that I know because of my grandmother. So they really took the whole lead your kids in the way that they shall go, and they shall never stray from it. And even if I have strayed a little bit, they they because of what they instilled in me, they've really allowed me to know how to get back onto the straight and narrow. And so I am very blessed in that way. Um, and now, I get to have these really good conversations with them, and it's awesome. But, anyways, so it's me, your favorite goth church lady, and I have to admit, this is gonna be more of a heart posture thing because I have notes, and we will be talking about those notes eventually, I'm sure. But I think this is a good opportunity for me to, one, remind you that, every creator that talks about God on any platform is a human, and we go through things and we experience all sorts of, challenges, and not all of it is like, trauma related or anything like that, or like even, dark and sad. Sometimes it's just like, I have this gross thing attached to me that I need to address, or I just realized something about myself and I don't know how I feel about it. So, this is a place where I have to let God's love infiltrate and stuff like that. And this is kind of one of those times, I have to admit. So, at my church, we have um, we have several different programs and stuff like that that we all have available to people of all kind of categories in life, kind of thing. Whether you're a married couple, you're single, maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe you're trying to recover from something. We have all these different things like Celebrate Recovery. We have divorce care. We have Reengage. We have the landing for teenagers and stuff like that. We have young adults. We have all sorts of different groups. You will find something that you can do. I don't have a car, and I'm probably going to sign up for one of the online ones, to be honest, because I want to get connected. But something that is very frustrating for me as somebody who isn't an introvert, um, it's hard for me to find a place because I love people for the most part, but I also have a hard time like allowing my social butterfly wings to flap, I guess is the best way to say that. And so, it's a little bit harder for me to become more known to people. And me being dressed like this definitely has its limitations. I'm sure that plenty of my spooky people on here know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's hard to not feel like it's a personal attack, I have to admit. And so I really have to take my reservations and my past experiences out of the equation, because I know that people see me for the most part generally how I actually am, because I have made myself known well enough and my heart well known enough to really kind of put myself out there in a way that is genuine, and taking out the performative nature of my past self, because I was very performative. Especially when I was dressing like everybody else. I was trying to fit in like everybody else, and I was trying to fit these cookie cutter molds, and I had no business, because I am not. I'm not even a cookie. I don't even know if I'm a sweet pastry at this point sometimes, but um, I don't know where I was going with that analogy. It kind of went off the rails there, but um, I do struggle with trying to relate to my not alternative peers in church, but we all have the same heart, so we do have common ground, and I think I forget that a lot of times. And it's so easy to try to blame things on, like, politics and stuff, and I think a lot of the times we forget that God is present. He's there for the whole thing. And so I really have to I had to really like sit back because I noticed my mind going to places where it should have never been going to, because it's really hard for us to reflect on ourselves, right? I have to force myself to really look at myself and be like, oh yeah, this is problematic behavior, and correct that, because I don't like thinking that I'm the villain. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, because it's not that even that we're the villain, but we do have faults. We do have these flaws that keep us from our own progress. For example, re-engage. I would love to be a shadow leader this round, but me and my husband are not going to be. And sitting in it for a little bit is just like, man, I really should have just gotten there sooner. I should have said something sooner. I should have da 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 da. Right? And that's all fine and dandy. But at the same time, God's timing, God's timing, not mine, but God's timing. And I had to focus on the fact that it's just like, yeah, I don't need to be a shadow leader to make an impression on the people that are going to be there. Not that I need to even make an impression on these people, but I should be praying for these couples that are going to be doing this program. I should be praying for the shadow leaders and the actual leaders. And in the meantime, I can get my stuff together and make sure that there's nothing that's going to be hindering me next round. But on top of that, this is a season for me to be serving, not for me to be leading. And that is so hard for me to tolerate. That is so hard for me. I am wrestling with this so bad. And it's because I have to constantly remove my ego from things, first of all. Like that's just kind of like the low hanging fruit with this. But also, I have to remember that there is a season for everything. So that's kind of like that's thing number two. But then also, I need to, there's something that I need to learn in this season, literally like season. I'm not saying that as like a, Christianese, that like this season of groups, I need to be serving, not leading. The only people I need to be leading right now are my girls and youth group. And that's it. And even then, that should be a serving role, not, oh, look at me, I'm on display. This is a season for me to really kind of hunker down. And the best story I could think of in the Bible for this, because I always try to bring this crap back to the Bible because it's important. Um, not that it's crap. It's not crap. But anyways, um, I have to, I'm in a season like Joseph was, like, he was, when he got sold by his brothers or whatever, there was a time where he was walking in that desert as a slave where till they got to wherever they had to go. And then from there, he had to work his way up to one position, then get demoted, like pretty much lose it all, then have another season before he became a better, like in a better position. Now, do I think that I'm going to be in some sort of grandeur kind of position? Absolutely not. I don't know what God has for me in the future. I just know that it's going to be exactly what I need to do. And I need to own, like, I need to be in that right now. And so now is a time for me to learn. Now is a time for me to remember to be humble and remember why I'm doing this to begin with. I think is what is really supposed to be learned right here. Like that's what I'm sensing. I might just be like, sugarcoating it. I might have some more, revelations as this as this re-engage goes. But I do think that this is a golden opportunity for me to see that God knows my heart, and he knows that I like having my little flock, but I need to be good with not being the main shepherd. I need to be good with maybe being the shepherd dog. That's a weird analogy. I don't know how else to think about this, but sometimes it's me just, being present for somebody and just being like, yeah, just lean into it. Like lean into the process. Don't be afraid. Because I don't have to necessarily be the facilitator to still be speaking into somebody too. There's plenty of ways that this can go. I don't even have to even be somebody that's even influencing anybody. It literally could just be me. Um, how do I want to word? Blah, blah, blah. I lost my trail of thought. It literally could just be me providing the coffee so the people are alert enough to actually listen to what God has to say, and that's enough. Me resetting the cafe so that way the leaders can strictly focus on the people and dedicate their time to doing that, so they don't have to stop what they're doing to help people out. Because I remember when I was doing re-engage as a participant, that sometimes we would have to help them to finish things up so that way they didn't have to stop talking to us. And so these are just different ways that um, God can put me and my husband to work to show that. And even then, it's just like, even if our story comes up in passing, that's another way for the Holy Spirit to be moving in some of these couples. We don't know what these couples are going through. And so I really kind of have to lean into that. And even as signups come up for Captivated, which is the trip that I went on earlier this year. And I had a major, awesome experience with that. And I made such a close, not even close knit, it's like I have this community of women now. I have this sisterhood that I'm a part of that, even if I'm not the loudest person in there, that I'm still very much valued and loved. And I want other women to experience that because I know how desperately I needed that. And so I really hope that I get to go up there, whether I'm cooking food or doing this, that, and the other thing. I don't care. It's just like, please put me to, like, I want to be part of this. But I also have to be okay if God says, no, not this year. No, not in this way. No, you're going to stay home. Regardless of what God has called me to do, I have to be ready for that answer, no matter what, like, no matter if my heart's in the correct position or not. And so I really kind of had to sit back and sit in that. And it's uncomfortable. But at the same time, there's also a lot of comfort in it because I know that I need to be exactly where God's putting me. And I have to give into the process. There's another story. It's actually in Judges. I wish I could remember this dude's name. But, he was so grateful for the victory that God gave him that he was just like, the first thing that comes out of my house is, what I'm going to give God. And that was, um, it was more like a well-intentioned thing, but God wasn't what God called for him to do. God didn't like demand that or request that from him. That was something strictly God was not a part of that equation. And so I also kind of have to remind myself, it's just like, how much did I invite God into this decision of mine? How much did I invite God to be a part of this journey with me? And so there's several things I have to focus on, that I have to bring attention to and address in my life. Because if I'm not right where I need to be in here or in here, how am I supposed to be in the right position to be able to give the wisdom that needs to be given to the people I want to help? It's all fine and dandy that I want to help them. It's all fine and dandy that, I'm so gun ho for, whatever comes my way. But if I'm not where I need to be spiritually, I cannot expect the full presence of God to be present because I didn't bring him into it. And there's so many places in the Old Testament where that has happened, and these many stories. And so, again, it's just something that I've just really been thinking about since, like, I don't know, maybe Sunday. And so, one, I do have to make sure that I put like allow the door to be opened. Make sure it's unlocked and all the locks and chains are out of the way, so that way God can doesn't have to completely Kool-Aid man the door. But at the same time, it's just I also have to be open to God gently saying, "Not right now." And yeah, um, but also it's a great time for reflection too. It gives me a second to be like, okay, you know maybe I need to get right somewhere else in my life, or maybe I need to surrender this, XYZ to God. And then that way God can come in and, clean that up. And then all of a sudden I'm a little bit lighter because I don't have that weighing me down. Um, so yeah, I know this isn't like a full message like normal. Um, but I do hope that maybe it might have helped you guys into thinking about, what season you're in right now, um, besides autumn um, or hurricane season for us in Florida. But hopefully, this was something that might inspire you to maybe do some self reflection as well. Maybe check your own heart posture, because I know that even when we have good intentions and good free, a good heart about things, that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a green light from God. And it's hard to sit in that. It's hard to sit in that, but it just means that this is a season for you to grow. This is a season for you to bear fruit. There's a season for you to grow, season for you to bear fruit. Sometimes it's, casting out more seeds, to bear more fruit and stuff. And now I want a fruit salad. I've been really craving one lately. So I need to make a run to Publix. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully this helped you out. Let me know in the comments. As per usual, interaction always helps with the channel. And I hope that you guys have a amazing week. And I am very much looking forward to Halloween. I'm actually going to be Morticia Adams, and my husband is going to be Gomez, and I'm super excited to see him in a suit because he doesn't wear one often. So yeah, I got one that has like lace that goes up to my neck. It's really pretty. So that way it's safe for work. But yeah, or it's safe for church. But yeah. But anyways, I hope that this helps. I love you guys, and I hope y'all have a great week. Okay, love you. Bye.